September 11th, 2001, a day of remembrance and reflection. We mark 24 years honoring those we lost and those who made sacrifices we'll never forget. Now, special coverage, remembering 9/11.
A live look in Lower Manhattan as we take time to remember and pay tribute to the victims of the September 11th attacks. It has become an annual tradition for us all to pause and pay our respects across the tri-state area. Good morning. I'm Harry Calvi.
And I'm Chris Raggi. You're watching our special coverage honoring the victims of the September 11th attacks. Today marks 24 years since the terror attacks changed New York City and the country forever.
This morning, we will honor the thousands of lives lost. Nearly 3,000 people were killed that day, including two of our own at CBS News New York, Isaiah Rivera and Robert Patterson. Isaiah was a CBS New York engineer who worked at our transmitter inside the towers. He lived in Perth Amboy, New Jersey, with his wife and 4 children, who worked for CBS for 30 years.
Robert was also a broadcast engineer who worked there. He was originally from Woburn, Massachusetts, before working at CBS 2. He was a member of the U.S. Air Force and attended the Air Force Broadcast School. Both men were on the 110th floor of One World Trade at the time of the attacks. We at CBS 2 honor our colleagues today and send our heartfelt condolences to the Rivera and Patterson families.
The ceremony taking place at the 9/11 Memorial. First, the honor guard will enter, and then the national anthem will be performed. Once underway, the names of every victim will be read by family members. There will be 6 moments of silence to signify when the plane struck and when the towers fell. After the first moment of silence, church bells will ring across the city. The observance continues this evening at dusk, when the tribute in light will again rise from Lower Manhattan and last until dawn. It uses dozens of powerful light bulbs, each 7,000 watts, creating powerful shafts of light visible up to 60 miles away. The 2 beams symbolize both what was lost and the city's enduring spirit.
Nearly a quarter of a century later, the weight of September 11th is still being felt, not just in memory, but in health. For the firefighters, police officers, and volunteers who spent days, weeks, and months digging through the rubble of the toxic aftermath, it continues to take its toll.
Dick Brennan is live in Lower Manhattan with the stories of sacrifice, survival, and the fight to stay alive. Dick.
Well, Chris and Mary, 24 years, this day of remembrance. It's hard to imagine it's been that long, but when you talk to the people here, you feel it all come back. And while this is a day of remembrance, it's also a time of struggle for many people still suffering from 9/11 related illnesses. In fact, advocates say cancers have surged something like 143% in the last 5 years alone. And right now, there is a struggle to get those people covered. It's been 24 years, but the attacks on 9/11 still take their toll on first responders who stayed for weeks and months at Ground Zero.
I just remember, like, that day after, being on the pile and recognizing the magnitude of what was going on. You're talking 200 stories of office building that we didn't find a keyboard, not a monitor, not a phone.
Firefighter Michael O'Connell, who remembers the agonizing search, wears his heart on his sleeve and his pride, well, on his skin.
And this is a saying that says sacrifice involves laying down your life for something greater than yourself.
Like so many others, he breathed the dust, and years later, he says, he felt its toxic effects.
I got sick one night. It was January 1st of 2007, and I woke up and I couldn't even get out of bed. My body had blown up to twice the size of what it was the night before, New Year's Eve. It was like somebody came and beat me up with a baseball bat. I had blisters and these marks all over my body, severe fever. Didn't know what was going on.
O'Connell would be diagnosed with sarcoidosis, an inflammatory disease that strikes the lungs, and years later, his health needs constant monitoring.
There's no missing the doctor. There's no missing your appointments.
You see the regular masks, right? The traditional ones, the COVID, I call them, COVID masks on.
Right. I joined Bridget Gormley at the 9/11 Museum.
That was garbage, they said. They said they would use it and it would get all like battery on their face.
She understands just how personally devastating it was for first responders.
They didn't even think twice. I mean, my father, from 9/11 on, he always had the postnasal drip. He was always coughing, 9/11 cough, the World Trade Center cough. He was covered in riddled skin cancers. I mean, just digging down there just settles on you and it goes right through your skin.
Her father, Billy Gormley, died in 2017 of lung and bladder cancer, inspiring Bridget to produce the film Dust, the lingering legacy of 9/11, documenting the dangers on the pile and beyond.
And this will leave a terrible, indelible mark on the persona of New Yorkers for many, many years to come.
One thing alone is a carcinogen, and now you have jet fuel, benzene, lead, chromium, pulverized concrete, everything mixed up and then cooked. The fires were going for 99 days.
Gormley urges anyone who might have gotten sick to enroll in the World Trade Center health program, even if it was too late for her father.
When he was getting treatment for his cancer, he said, Bridget, he's like, down the hall is a kids unit. He's like, I had my life, I had my family, like, I'm grateful.
From Michael O'Connell, he's driven to be healthy for his kids.
My main goal is if I could take my daughter and hold her hand and walk her down the aisle one day and kind of pass her on. I get to that day, I think I made it. She's only 14, so I'm hoping I have many more years that, until we get there.
And Bridget Gormley says she's learned that being aware of your health should be first and foremost.
Always be wary when someone tells you it's fine and you know it's not fine. If you're standing on a smoldering pile of rubble and they're like, don't worry, you're going to be okay, it's probably not okay.
Now Michael and Bridget devote their lives to make sure people will be okay. And Mary, Chris, on a personal note, I just have to say, coming down here through the years, this ceremony, obviously it's very solemn, but in some ways it's so beautiful because we see the families, the fathers, the mothers, the sisters, the brothers, the aunts, the uncles, but now you even see the grandchildren who are paying tribute to loved ones, great heroes who died here. They may not have even known them, but they bring back their spirit, and that's what's so special. And I think we could all remember the spirit of the city after 9/11. Indeed, it was special. Chris and Mary.
Yeah, Dick, and the way that area has transformed itself over the last 24 years, it's something to behold, that's for sure.
It's a beautiful place, and it's a special place.
All right, Dick, thank you. On Tuesday, the FDNY honored 39 members who died from illnesses linked to their work in the rescue and recovery efforts at the World Trade Center. Their names were added to the FDNY World Trade Center Memorial Wall. As one FDNY leader explains, the toll is still growing.
Effects of that day, I don't want to say are going unnoticed, but are fading into the background. The illnesses that we're encountering and the long suffering that our members are now subjected to is really taking a toll on both them and the department.
Well, we say it every year, and it's never forget. We have to say it louder and louder every year, unfortunately.
The department has now lost more than 400 members to World Trade Center-related illnesses, that number now surpassing the 343 firefighters who died on that day in 9/11.
We're just minutes away from the ceremonies beginning on this day of remembrance and reflection at the 9/11 Memorial Plaza.
Natalie Duddridge spoke with city leaders on the significance of this day. Natalie?
Chris, Mary, good morning. The pain of this day lingers, but as Dick Brennan was just mentioning, there is a sense of strength. Now, we are positioned just a little further south from that Memorial Plaza, where we were just speaking to officials. Just moments ago, we spoke to Mayor Adams, who spoke about the importance of this anniversary and also the city's resiliency.
The attacks were on 9/11. And many of our enemies, foreign and domestic, thought we were going to collapse as a country. But we got up 9/12. Teachers taught, builders build. We showed the globe our resiliency, even in the midst of pain.
And we just heard about the lives that continue to be lost from illnesses. Following today's ceremony, there will be a special tribute honoring those lives lost. The fire department lost 343 members on September 11th, and each year more names sadly added. Members who have died from these 9/11 related illnesses continuing to grow. The FDNY commissioner reflected on what that day means for the FDNY and families still grieving.
We're running about 3 a month. And which is an enormously horrible number, and it's sickening to think about. And one thing I can assure everyone is we will never forget the sacrifices made that day and in the last 24 years.
Now, again, the ceremony will begin in just over 10 minutes from now. You will hear those bells toll. 8:46, that is the time the first flight hit the North Tower. That will be followed by a moment of silence citywide, and then, of course, the reading of those names. From Lower Manhattan, Natalie Duddridge, CBS News, New York.
Okay, Natalie, thank you. Anyone gathered at the plaza for the 9/11 memorial today should expect it to warm up as the ceremony goes on.
We're expecting clear skies today as well. Tony Sadigu has the details in your first alert forecast. Tony.
Good morning. Yeah, it's a quiet weather pattern that takes over today as high pressure takes center stage. It really is a beautiful day, much like it was 24 years ago, where the weather was not an issue for travel. It was also a transition day. If you remember, Hurricane Aaron was offshore. We had just gone through a cold front that drenched our area, brought us an inch plus of rain, and the next day was very similar to this. It's tough to look outside today and not think about how brilliant the sky was, that cobalt blue, the start of a seemingly perfect day until it wasn't. Temperatures very similar to what it is right now as well. In the low 60s, it's very comfortable, it's pleasant. Numbers for the memorials and the ceremonies this morning will also be very pleasant. Rain-free skies, it's striking the lack of clouds for so many, as it's a day of remembrance or a day of service as we honor the victims and the first responders. Chris and Mary.
Tony, thank you. Let's give you a live look now at empty sky at Liberty State Park. It is the official memorial in New Jersey to remember the September 11th attacks on the World Trade Center. Situated on a berm, the parallel walls are engraved with the names of the victims and positioned to face the former World Trade Center site.
Meanwhile, friends, family, and the community in Jersey City are coming together to remember the 39 residents the city lost. Sloan joins us with more.
Jersey City's remembrance ceremony being held here on the waterfront, across from where the Twin Towers once stood. The city remembering 39 residents who were killed on September 11th. It's where twisted steel and metal from the World Trade Center now stands as a reminder of that awful day. More than 700 of those killed on 9/11 were New Jersey residents. The waterfront became a triage center on that day for many fleeing the city. The remembrance ceremony begins at 8:30 this morning with the reading of names and the placing of a wreath in the Hudson River. In Jersey City, Sloan, CBS News, New York.
Who really don't know us know that we never give up.
And this is Point Lookout on Long Island, where families, friends, and residents have returned to this beach every year for a ceremony at sunrise to honor the lives lost. We spoke to one woman whose son died on 9/11.
He called me and he said, "Mom, the building is falling down around me. I love you." I said, "Find someone to be with so you're not alone and they're not alone." He said, "Okay, Mommy," and then the phone went dead.
For so many people, they come back on every 9/11 to remember those who rushed into Ground Zero selflessly, knowing there was a very good chance they were not going to come out alive, but they were doing it to save others.
A memorial will also take place in Shanksville, Pennsylvania, where 40 passengers and crew members aboard United Airlines Flight 93 died. It is believed that the hijackers crashed the plane after the passengers and crew attempted to retake control of the flight deck.
A memorial is also taking place at the Pentagon in Washington today. This is a live look ahead of the ceremony in D.C., where President Trump will be attending. This morning, the American flag, as you can see, draped down the side of the Pentagon. At 9:37 in the morning, 24 years ago, American Airlines Flight 77 crashed into the facade of the Pentagon. 184 lives were lost between those inside the Pentagon and, of course, the passengers on that flight.
The commemoration today in New York City is for family members of victims of the 2001 and the 1993 attacks. Family members were invited to enter their names into a lottery system, and those selected will participate in this year's reading of the names. President Trump will be in New York City tonight, attending the Yankees games expected to be at the Pentagon this morning.
And they have told people at Yankee Stadium, if you do have tickets for that game tonight, security will be heightened, obviously, so make sure you get there with plenty of time. Vice President J.D. Vance expected in Lower Manhattan at the memorial site this morning for the services, as the dignitaries and other luminaries here from the city and other parts will be congregating in Lower Manhattan. As Tony mentioned, it's going to be a perfect weather condition day, so everyone should be obviously there comfortably as the names are read over the next few hours, and that is set to begin in the next few moments here as we take a look at live pictures from downtown right now.
You've been watching our special coverage honoring the victims of the September 11th attacks. Today marks 24 years since the terror attacks changed New York City and the country forever.
You can see Kash Patel right there of the FBI left of your screen, speaking with former Mayor Rudy Giuliani, who you can see is recovering after that being in that car crash just about a week ago. Had a brace there supporting his chest in a wheelchair, but good to see him on hand. Mayor Giuliani again speaking with Kash Patel as we look at some of the reflecting pools here, which again are the signature pieces of the memorial in Lower Manhattan right now.